Welcome to Hidden Magic Tarot. My name is Nancy. I'm a tarot reader and an art witch. And in this video, we're going to talk about patchwork readings. Before I talk about how I do patchwork readings, I want to refer you to two other YouTube channels where I've seen videos about this. One is Kellyanne Maddox. Kellyanne has a very in-depth video about patchwork readings. I highly recommend it, and I will link it below. And the other is Tarot Magpie. They also put together a video about how they do patchwork readings, and I will link that one below as well. So let's talk about how I do them. So first of all, I've got a variety of decks here. I've got tarot, affirmation, and oracle. And what I like to do is choose at least one deck from each type and then use the way those cards interact with one another to give me a message. One of my favorite ways to do this is a mini patchwork reading for a daily draw. So I'll pull like one oracle, one tarot, and one affirmation deck for a piece of wisdom or a message for the day. So patchwork readings can be really small like that, just a daily draw, but they can also be very in-depth. They can be very broad. They're a great way to just get a general reading and go deep into something. Let me show you some examples. Let's start with how I would do a mini patchwork for a daily draw. I have a tarot, an oracle, and an affirmations deck. And I often just pull a card from each one and try to go off those cards for a message for the day. I don't have a specific question in mind. But you could ask a specific question. You could ask something like, how can I be my most authentic self today? So it should be something fairly expansive, or you could ask for something to look out for today, to find joy, or something like that. So I will just pull cards, but what I would normally do is, give these a good shuffle. I'd, center myself as I do when I do readings. I would, approach it like any other reading. For today, though, for this video, I'll just pull the top one off the deck. What I normally do is I lay them all upside down. Okay, I'm not going to fight with that while I'm recording. Make a mess here. I would normally lay them upside down, so let me do that. I'll show you how this goes. Okay, so in this case, I would just say I'm looking for, a message for the day, And then I would just choose one to turn over. Sometimes I build one at a time. I more often just turn them all over so they can see how they interact right away. Now the main message often comes here from the affirmation deck. Beauty raises my vibration. I seek it out for healing and joy. Okay, so this is my daily draw. I'm going to be thinking about seeking out beauty. And then I have surrender to receive. Very interesting. So I'm already making some connections around like what would I have to let go of so that I can see that beauty? What am I going to surrender so that the beauty can come through to me? And very interestingly, we get in this deck, 4 of emotions. This is the 4 of cups. So, these feel a little, in opposition to one another. So now I'm looking at how they connect, how they inform one another. With these 3 cards for a simple daily draw, I would try to keep it simple, and I would think that the message I would take from this is that I need to stop focusing on things that are maybe dragging me down, things that aren't beautiful, right? That maybe the thing on offer is beauty. And then I might even ask another card about what do I have to surrender? Maybe I have to surrender striving. I have to surrender expectations. I have to surrender perfection in order to see beauty in that day. So that would be a daily draw, and it would be something simple, often something very actionable. Let me show you how I would do one for a deeper reading that I'm going to sit with for a while and let it be kind of wide-ranging thoughts. So when I do a patchwork reading that is more for something quite in depth, I would choose more decks. So Here you see I've got one oracle that has keywords. I've got another oracle that's just images. I have a tarot. This is a tarot that I made that's only quartz and major arcana. And then this is that same affirmation deck. These are great when you just want to know more. You want to improve something in your life that's actually going really well as it is, but you just like to do more in that area. You want more insight, more thinking, more time, almost to meditate on it. I find these patchwork readings quite meditative. In a patchwork reading, we're just going to grab a deck and start pulling one or two cards, and then we just start setting them up next to each other. So I find Poesis to be sort of an anchoring type deck. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'll choose an affirmation card, and then we'll go from there. So again, if I were doing this, you know, a real reading for myself, not a sample one, I would give it a good shuffle. I would practice my entire practice that I normally do when I do a reading. Okay, and we'll set that Poesis card in the center, and then we'll get, maybe put that there. And then let's go to some tarot and start filling in. And now I picked these cards because I think they look good together. The backs may not look amazing, but you know, they are what they are. And as you go, you might need to shift because I've got different sized cards here. And then maybe we add another down there. And feels like another one of those up there would be a good idea. We can even do a little more there. See, just shift and then lay cards down until it feels like you're done. And actually that feels done to me. When you do a patchwork reading, you can choose to turn them all over at the same time, or you can go one by one, or just turn a couple over at a time. When I have this many, I turn over just one or two at a time and let things build and expand from there. So since I chose this sort of as the anchor card, we'll turn that one over. Home. Okay, so as a general reading, I would say this reading is about home and feelings of belonging. And that can fit into a lot of areas of life. The next thing I would probably do would be to go towards this card because it's the deck that's only majors and quartz, or to this one because it's going to be a very specific message. I think we'll do this one. I teach people how to treat me. And the Page of Wands. Okay. So I'm not turning the rest over just yet. I have home. I have a message about how I want to be treated. So I start to go towards boundaries when I think about this. And I think of Page of Wands and their excitement, their passion, their openness. And so these three things are already starting to brew in me, thinking about how my home, like more of a spiritual home, an emotional home, would be a place where I have careful boundaries, where I know how I want to be treated, but where I'm not so boundaried that I can't take chances, that I'm not out in the world doing interesting things, and that I'm not getting focused on perfectionism, right? That would be my home. All right, let's see what this one has to say. So this again is soul cards, and so there's no images. Or sorry, there's no keywords, there's just images. I love this. This makes me think of parts work, internal family systems, and how our self is this integrated version of many, many parts. And that takes me back to home, right? Like my happiest home, my best home, my well-being will be when my parts are integrated. And that goes back to boundaries. That goes back to my creativity and taking chances and avoiding perfectionism. I love that. Let's see what's up here now. We have play. Oh my goodness. So of course, right away, I connect Page of Wands and play. Really, they go hand in hand, I think. So it's again remembering that we want to be boundaried, but we have to play. We can't be such a perfectionist. We can't be so frightened of other people bumping up against our boundaries that we're not out in the world. And part of finding our home is integrating ourselves. This one's winking at me. Oh, wow. 9 of Swords. Okay, so that one feels so outside of these other ones that I'm going to let it sit for a minute before I try to integrate it into the reading. Oh my, and 7 of Swords. Okay, well, that deck wants to tell me something. And then this is the other soul cards. So again, just an image. Boy, that feels like integrating the mind and the heart to me. So this often happens in patchwork readings where you get a lot of things that make a lot of sense together. Like this here makes so much sense to me. And then there's these two that feel so outside of the rest of this message. But when you pull these, then you get to start expanding and diving deeper into the reading. So definitely some concern around anxiety here, right? Like home. If I go back here, now I look at this home and I think, oh my gosh, am I caged in that home? Is it a home where I am in my integrated self? Is it a home where I can follow my passions, where I can play? Or is that home holding me back? Am I using home as some sort of an excuse because I'm feeling very anxious? And so I am not getting out in the world. Where Page of Wands is telling me, get out in the world. Take those chances. Play. Feel like this is sort of the antidote to the anxiety I might be feeling. 7 of Swords, I think in this case, I would read this as the meaning of like wearing a mask, secrecy, like secrecy about self. And that fits really well there as well. And it fits into these integrative pieces around integrating your heart and your mind and all the parts of you to find your true home. You've got to drop the mask in order to be your authentic self. And your Page of Wands can really help with that. And approaching the world in a state of play instead of perfectionism, anxiety, striving can really help with dropping the mask as well. And so can that parts work, like integrating your inner child, your inner teen, your inner artist, your inner rebel. And that's my own interpretation of parts work. I know that is not IFS. I'm not a therapist, but I think of these like parts of ourselves. And it could be like our inner Page of Wands, right? Who is our inner Page of Wands and how to integrate them? I cannot be misunderstanding myself. This card to me in this reading is about your true authentic self and knowing that person and letting them out into the world. It's really hard to treat people or to teach people how to treat you if you don't really even know yourself yet. And these cards here, play, Page of Wands, are telling you how to get there, how to find your kind of spiritual, authentic home in yourself, in your heart. Okay, I could go on and on and on forever, but you get the idea, right? You keep connecting, you keep expanding, you go deeper, you go wider. When I do these readings for other people, it's like, it's just a container for a conversation. So they talk as much as I do. I let them make those connections so then we can look deeper in, and I tell them about the meanings of the cards, of course, but it's almost more important that you let them make the connections and to make the dive deeper into everything. Because even just looking at the images, the person you're reading for will start to get great ideas right off the bat. And then when I do these readings for myself, I have my journal ready or I have my phone out so I can record my thoughts and then return to it. Set aside a good long time if you're going to do a reading like this. If you're going to do a patchwork, give yourself at least a half an hour because you want to be able to dive deep and just like exhaust all the possibilities of how these cards connect and the wisdom they have for you. Now the daily, the mini patchwork, Give yourself like 5 minutes. But something like this, and you can add as much as you want. Take up the whole table if you feel like it. Give yourself a good amount of time. And that is it. That is my patchwork reading. Again, I highly recommend you go see Tarot Magpie and Kellyanne Maddox's videos about patchwork readings as well. This is just my favorite approach. Let me know if you have any questions at all. I'd be happy to answer them for you.